So the reason I wanted to show this is because there's a lot of advice out there that says you need to post every day, and the biggest channels aren't doing that. So should creators prioritize quality or quantity when making content for their YouTube channel or social pages? Let's look into it and determine what is actually going to benefit your social channels. The deeper I get into the world of creating content, the more I feel like time starts to go by faster and faster, and there's this illusion that I have less and less of it. That might just be part of getting older too, not necessarily a creator thing, but let me know in the comments if any of you have experienced this. This also correlates with another topic that I'm going to get into in another video. How often is the most ideal to be posting content? I think it's clear that in the content creator community there are mixed feelings on this. Some people will say it depends on the type of content, so then how is a creator supposed to know what is going to be the best for their channel? After one of my first videos went viral, I made this series where I cleaned my old orthodontic retainer with all kinds of bizarre things as requested by my followers, like bleach, brake cleaners, stainless steel cleaner, detergent, etc. At first, these videos were getting millions of views, and the requests were pouring in. I got really excited about this and felt inspired to create and post even more frequently to keep up with viewer requests. But when I started posting 2 to 3 times a day, views started dropping. I was burning out my audience, and honestly, I was burning myself out too. I was starting to have less and less fun making those videos, and the lack of enthusiasm was definitely showing through on camera. I was cranking these videos out, but the excitement was deteriorating quickly. I had made up these insane deadlines in my head that I needed to post more than once a day, without considering how putting all this pressure on myself was affecting the quality of the content. Instead of slowing down and experimenting with a different pacing, I ended up abandoning the series early and transitioned to a completely new style of content. I invented an entirely new character, the discount dentist, and I left the retainer content behind. Looking back, I wonder if I had slowed down and focused on one really great video every few days instead of flooding my feed, could I have stretched the life of that series longer? I actually had a list that I would show in every video of all the crazy ways we would be cleaning the retainer, and people loved it. One of the things on the list was even visiting the braces guy at his orthodontic facility. We were going to try and clean the retainer there, and I thought that this would have not only made a great piece of content, but would have also been a great way to end the series. But instead of following through on the really fun ideas, I got discouraged from pushing out too much content too fast and quit the series too early. So now I know what happens for me when I focus too much on quantity without keeping the quality in check. But there's a lot of creators that have tens or even hundreds of millions more followers than me. So let's also look at how often the top 10 YouTube creators post long-form content and short-form content. Before we look at that, I'm also curious, for those of you who have been creating for a while, what's worked best for you? Have you found that posting more often gets you more views, or do you see better results when you take your time and really refine your content? Or what have you discovered to be the perfect balance of both? Let me know in the comments. With the presence of AI growing rapidly, we now have people pitching how to make money on automated channels. With there being more content available than ever before, it can definitely sound appealing to do the least amount of work while yielding the highest profits. With that said, I think it's important to consider that hard work is an important factor in any job. So the question is, do you want to spend time running an automated system and cranking out tons of videos that you have very little of your own influence over? Or would you rather focus your energy on pouring your heart and creativity into really outstanding pieces of content and posting them a little bit less frequently? If you've been stressing over whether to post more or post better quality, you're not alone. Let's take a look at this graph that showcases different possibilities for hitting 30 million views in a month. This is Sally, a creator who is consistently getting 1 million views on every video. She posts one piece of content a day and hits roughly 30 million views every month. Now let's look at Bob. Bob loves to post tons of videos all day long. He posts constantly and gets around 30,000 views on every video. To hit 30 million views in a month, Bob would need to post over 33 videos a day to hit 30 million views. Now let's look at Jimmy. Jimmy works really hard and posts a piece of content every week or two. He works really hard to make sure his videos are totally unique and spends multiple days or even weeks reviewing the video, sleeping on it, re-editing the video before posting it. Because Jimmy's process is so refined, each video hits around 10 million views every time. He's working hard, but he isn't frantically posting videos all day long every day like Bob. On average, Jimmy posts 3 videos a month and hits 30 million views. So as you can see, there's a lot of different ways to get a lot of views, and only you can decide how much content you're willing to create in a month or even a week. There's obviously different ways to focus your energy, but one way or another, having a thriving platform is going to take a fair amount of work and effort. If you're wondering if automated channels are a good idea and can help push out content faster, be sure to check out the video in the description below where the pros and cons of automated channels are covered in more detail. For now, we can establish that automated channels certainly focus on quantity over quality, and the creators who only ever focus on quantity are likely to end up posting a ton of forgettable videos. YouTube isn't looking for the channel with the most videos, it's looking for the most watchable videos. The ones that make people stop scrolling, stay engaged, and most importantly, keep them watching until the very very end. The platforms don't care if you post 10 times a day or once a month. It cares if people actually watch your videos all the way through. If people are clicking off your videos in the first few seconds, it doesn't matter how many you post, YouTube won't push any of them out. And that's why understanding this balance between quality and quantity is so crucial. One way to maintain balance is by batch filming. Instead of posting daily and burning out, you could film multiple high-quality videos in one go and spread them out over time. That way you're not sacrificing quality, but you're also staying consistent and making the best use of your time. The right balance isn't going to be the same for everyone. Some creators thrive by posting daily, while others find success in spacing out their uploads. The only way to know what works best for you is to test it out while paying attention to how much energy each video is taking from you. Track your analytics, experiment with different posting frequencies, and pay attention to what your audience responds to. If we put this debate into a visual framework, imagine a graph with quality on one axis and quantity on the other. If you focus too much on quantity, you end up with a flood of forgettable videos. If you only focus on quality, you might spend months making something amazing, but aren't posting often enough to gauge what your audience really wants. Without pushing content often enough to test and find out what works well for you, you could end up wasting weeks on something you thought your viewers would find amazing only for it to flop. The key is finding the sweet spot where you're posting often enough to stay relevant but with enough quality to keep people engaged. And this is exactly what I teach inside my Viral Blueprint course. It's not about guessing, hoping, or posting 1,000 times until something sticks. And despite what you've heard, there's definitely not a hard rule that you need to be posting every day. And here's proof. Let's look at the top 10 channels. The biggest channel in the world is MrBeast. And scrolling through here, being extra generous, I'd say he posts about twice a month. It's actually a little bit less than that, but we'll just say twice a month. YouTube doesn't actually show the date that a short is posted, but I looked at his TikTok account and he posts a short about once a week. The second biggest account on YouTube is Cocomelon. I've never seen this channel before, but I've heard of it. They actually post pretty often, but let's be honest, this is animated content, and I think they have a big team that's generating this content and they're scheduling ahead because it's doing so well, so they can afford to pay people to just pump this content out. But to be honest, I think this is going to be an outlier, but let's just say they post every other day, 15 times a month. And it looks like their short form content is actually the same about every other day. Next up is Vlad and Nikki. It looks like Vlad and Nikki post about 10 times a month for long form content. I can't really tell on their short form content. I wish YouTube put the dates, but we'll say it's 10 times a month. Number 4 is Kids Diana Show, and this channel is posting 10 times a month long form content. And this channel also hasn't posted in a year, kind of like the Vlad and Nikki TikTok channel that I could find. I'm using TikTok to gauge short form content because I can't see the dates on YouTube. But let's just say that when this channel was thriving, it looked like it was about the same as their long form content. Oh no, they were posting like once every 2 months. This is probably a terrible thing to say, but some of these channels look like hell. What I mean is, when my mom found out I was doing fruit surgery videos on YouTube, she asked me like, why can't you do a channel like Cocomelon? And this just looks so overstimulating. I could never maintain a channel like this. But props to these people. I mean, these are the top 10 channels in the world. They're doing a lot of things that are working really well. So this is channel number 5. I'm not sure how to say it, like Nastia, I think they said. This channel is posting about 3 times a month long form. Since a lot of these channels aren't posting on TikTok, I realized that I can't accurately gauge this data without finding out when they're posting on YouTube. So I'm using a third-party site to do that now. And it looks like this one is posting about once a month, maybe twice a month. We'll say twice a month. I went back to the Kids Diana Show to correct my data on that. And it looks like short form content is also 10 times a month on that one. So I'm just gonna look at one more channel. I'm skipping down the list. This is actually not in the top 10, but Mark Rober's the number 12 channel on YouTube. Just wanted to do another channel because a lot of these were kids channels. So this is like a guy closer to my age compared to the previous content. So he's posting about once a month. It's actually less than that. And his short form content is about 3 times a month. I'm going through the rest of them really fast. This guy's definitely an outlier. Alan's Universe posts a short every day. So 5 Minute Crafts posts a long form video almost twice a day, but they have the lowest views out of all the other channels I've seen in the top 10 so far. But they only do 6 shorts a month. I feel like that's kind of backwards. I didn't know Baby Shark was actually a YouTube channel. So that's the top 10 YouTube channels, minus number 10, A4, because I couldn't find it in view stats. So I just swapped that out with Mark Rober's channel because he was number 12. The average number of videos that each of these channels post a day is 11.9. We can round up to 12 long form videos in a month, and 9.2, I think we can round that down to 9 9 because I was being extra generous with some of those numbers. 9 short form videos a month. 5-Minute Crafts was definitely an outlier channel, so when I took that one out, the average was actually closer to 6 videos a month long form, and still about 9 for short form. I still think there were some outliers here, like Alan's Universe, I think, was posting a short form video every single day, which wasn't typical compared to the other channels. But overall, you can see that the top 10 YouTube channels in the US are posting about 6 long form videos a month and about 9 short form videos a month. So the reason I wanted to show this is because there's a lot of advice out there that says you need to post every day, and the biggest channels aren't doing that. So there's gotta be some information we can draw from that. And these are channels that have huge production teams, and this is as fast as they're putting out content. So if it's taking them this long to put out content, then you can have some compassion for yourself if you feel like posting every day is overwhelming. So I really wanted to analyze this data because I wanted people to feel like they don't necessarily have to post every day to be a strong YouTube channel. But I think something that you can do to get even better information for yourself is to go and look at like 10 to 20 YouTube channels in your niche and run the same numbers, and then you can draw your own conclusions about how often you think that you should be posting on your channels. So if you want to stop spinning your wheels and actually grow this year, check out the link to the Viral Blueprint course below. It's everything that I wish I knew when I started making content to save you time and get you monetizing faster.